All right, guys. So another update. As you can see, we have got some paint on the engine bay and the firewall. It come out okay. I kind of got what I wanted to done, but I didn't get it like perfect. It's far from perfect. And I'm okay with it because I've got some other plans. Like I didn't want to do a bunch of body work in this corner to cover up these patch pieces because there's going to be a panel that sits in there that covers up the fuel regulator and whatnot. And I mean, like I said, it's not perfect on the firewall either. I've got some spots that um, there's some imperfections. You know, it's not perfect, guys, and I'm not worried about it. Honestly, it looks a hell of a lot better than a shit ton of holes and old paint, and it's a race car for the most part. So this is the final product, guys, right here. This is what you get. I ain't gonna make it any better. Of course, once you start putting all the parts back in, get your motor set in, and once everything's in there, your eyes are gonna be busy anyways. And yeah, I'm sure there's people that are gonna point out certain spots, and I ain't gonna let it get to me. I'm like I said, I'm not that worried about it. But for for a few weekends, just cleaning it up and getting it done and doing the body work and getting some paint on it, I'm happy with what I've got. So if you notice on the cowl, we've got our Jack Daniels catch can, or overflow tank for the radiator. So I mean, we've had that done for a while. So I am going to paint that cap or order a black one. They didn't have any black ones when I made the order for the kit, the welding kit. So I'm not keeping that blue, in case anyone was wondering. We did end up making its little brother for the oil, the catch can for oil. All right, so and I've got that over here. There it is, guys. There's my oil catch can. So we've got Jack and we've got Coke. So I think we're all set there. I've got my fittings welded in for each valve cover. Got those ordered. Got them welded on. Got them. This is where I'm going to mount it. So it's I've got my motor plate in. I don't know if I covered that in the last video or not. We were going to a motor plate. We know that much, but I actually got it built and mocked into place, and I got the turbo set up on. Make sure everything clears. Make sure the downpipes, not the downpipe, the hot side was gonna clear underneath it, and it seems to be pretty good. Plenty of clearance. Hot side I had to modify because when I built the tube front end, this upper bar contacted the turbo just a little bit, so I ended up having to clock this slightly, just a little more, to get it to not touch the bar. And when I did that, obviously the exhaust no longer lined up perfectly, so I had to cut it, and I'll redo that once I get it in. Because remember, I also talked about moving the turbo completely outside of the fender well, so I haven't decided if that's what I'm going to do or if I'm going to put it back together the way it is and then just kind of deal with it sticking through a little bit and just build around it for the panel. But we'll do that when we get around to it. We did cut the motor mounts off of the tubular K-member. Okay, we got those cut off. I cut those off. I took the mounts off the motor and I put them on my scale and weighed them collectively. And then I weighed the motor plate separately. When I put the motor plate in, I removed the backing plate from the water pump because this acts as a backing plate. So you didn't need a pump, a gasket, a plate, another gasket, this plate, and then a gasket behind it. So you eliminate that plate. That plate was surprisingly heavy for what it was. It with it gone and just a plate. So basically, what I'm saying is switching to a motor plate. Weight wise, I'm saving somewhere between 5 to 7 pounds in weight. I know that's not a lot, but I wanted to go to a motor plate anyways, and I was really curious on what the weight savings would be after everything was removed from the car, So, like I said, guys, anywhere from 5 to 7 pounds switching to this motor plate, which I did not buy. I built it from scrap metal that I had, okay? So I had just big enough of a piece that would fit the motor and the pump, and I trimmed the edges down to clear the alternator and accessories. And then I welded on. It's just, most motor plates are 1/4 inch thick. So this one is 3/16 thick, and then it has 4-inch, 1/4 inch thick tabs welded on either side of it that I welded up. So when I put the steel tabs on the tube chassis, this motor plate will line up in line with those. So this is 1/4 inch, this is 3/16, and then it's braced. Most of the kits I've seen only bolt to the water pump. I've got this one braced so it through bolts with a spacer to the head on this side. I've also drilled, I'm not sure if we can see it in this lighting, but I've also drilled out, those are 2 spacers there, that goes through the plate into the timing cover. So it all tied in, and then I have one that comes through on the lower half of the alternator. So it's extremely rugged, guys. There's no flex in that plate at all. And then this idler pulley that I'm building, I want to say that's a pulley off of like an AC delete or a smog delete, and I have the pulley, but I didn't have the bracket, which it really wouldn't have mattered because it was the wrong offset. So I've got a spacer bar in there, a large bolt, and then I'm going to come off of this water pump bolt, okay, with a brace that comes over and ties into this at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so we're going to go from here to here, weld a piece of steel, it might be tubular, I haven't decided yet, from here to here so it bolts. So it will bolt on, and then I'll have a brace that is welded to that back to this corner, so it's triangulated. And then it's pretty rugged where it is now. It's not moving, but once I brace it, it's definitely not going anywhere. I don't want to take a chance of that belt, doing something weird under power. So that's pretty much it for that setup. I am going to end up cleaning the motor and painting everything. Once that comes, I am going to repaint the headers with a high temp coating, and then I'm going to wrap the hot side. I have exhaust wrap for that, and then I want to pick up a blanket for the turbo. So we'll get that stuff here soon enough. But this is what we've got, guys. So this is where I've stopped. I got to order some more parts and pieces. I got to order a 3500 stall converter, and then I think I really want to get a trans brake in that, but I don't know if I'm going to have the money to do it. I have a line lock that I've got to install once I get everything back together. Oh, and I got to order the bracket kit for the manual brake conversion. I got to get that done. So that's where we're at, guys. I haven't touched the wiring harness yet. We haven't slimmed that up. We did slim the dash up. Took all the weight out of the dash. I didn't weigh anything that I pulled out of it. I just kind of threw it over here in the pile of stuff that I've been pulling out of the car. And if you remember from the last time, I think we pulled over 40 pounds, almost 50 pounds out of the car that we weighed. So, add that.